Hi everyone, today I want to share some exclusive information about the Abattoir of Zir and the Season 3 Gauntlet. If you have watched the BlizzCon panels, then you know that there is some stuff coming that actually looks really exciting. And, well, I was there at BlizzCon, you might have seen my summary video, but also BlizzCon, I actually visited the Blizzard headquarters for a day, together with Riker and Macrobioboy. So that was really cool, and we got a little sneak peek and a feedback session on the Abattoir of Zir and the Gauntlet. So I can tell you a few things about it already. So what you need to know is that, well, in December we're gonna get some extra new endgame content for Season 2, which I think is actually really cool news, but also it is gonna be some really exciting stuff to do on the higher end of things. So previously, people were complaining that, at least on the higher end, the game is too easy, not really much to grind for, etc. And the Abattoir of Zir is going to change that exactly. So this is going to be some extremely high-end content that unlocks after you have finished the entire season's journey. So the devs have also talked about this a little bit. This is supposed to be like post-tier 100 Nightmare Dungeon content, basically. So back in Season 0, we had like this extremely hard Nightmare Dungeons, and that kind of goes in the same direction, but with less one-shots and much tankier monsters mostly. Overall, this is something that you can actually relate more to Great Rifts from Diablo 3. It's basically Great Rifts in Diablo 3, to be honest. So if you have played Diablo 3 in the past, which I guess most of you have, then you will recognize a lot of the same similarities here. So we have a timer, we have a progression bar, so if you go in there, then you just get a random map with random monsters, and here on the right you see the timer. So basically, this is how Abattoir of Zir is gonna go, roughly. And then at the end, there's gonna be like a random boss spawn, and you have to defeat that boss also in time. So this is basically how that went, and we tried it out with like some pretty strong builds, to be fair, and it is really tough to get through that thing. So it starts out at tier 1, and goes all the way up to tier 25. So there is a progression in difficulty, and it scales up really fast. So this is not like Nightmare Dungeon tiers where you're like going like 10 tiers higher. Doesn't really make much of a difference. The scaling is incredible in that system. And as far as I'm aware, you're not really supposed to finish the last tier. So even the Hoda Barbs and the Ball Hitting Zorgs are not supposed to go all the way. So this is supposed to be like some kind of like, infinitely difficult challenge at the very least. And on top of that, very grindy. So they have like a glyph here that is introduced with that system, which is the Tears of Blood. That's going to be available to all classes, which is incredibly powerful. So this is the thing that you can get when you complete the first Abattoir of Zir, tier 1, and then you can rank up that glyph, apparently 200 times. So if that scales like a normal glyph, then this is going to be ridiculous because it gives you multiplicative damage. So even like the level 1 is ridiculously good. So you want to slot that in basically on any build, somewhere where you can stack a lot of these stats. It has a radius size of 4, and it goes to 5 at level 50. So you have like a massive glyph, and you can stack core stats. I'm not quite sure if this only relates to the main stat of your character or any like core stat, because technically all of the 4 stats are actually core stats. So maybe just like stack up everything in the radius. We'll see. But it's going to be a crazy damage multiplier. So you're going to get like hundreds or even probably thousands of % of damage there at some point if you level up that glyph to maximum, and you get this massive bonus to rare nodes. So I'm going to be talking about where to slot them in exactly with various classes at some point when we get there. However, there is definitely some insane potential here to boost your character, and this is obviously intended to just kind of like trivialize everything in the game besides Abattoir of Zir. So Abattoir of Zir is going to be the endgame challenge, and you grind out that glyph for that purpose, and everything else is going to be a joke basically, once that content hits and you have this glyph socketed in. That's basically how it goes. And as you go in there, you complete these greater rifts basically. You get a lot of XP to level up those glyphs. And also you can craft these tiers then at the occultist, I think. So it kind of works like the Nightmare Dungeon sigils. And you go to a special place here in Cat Bardu. There's this portal. And this is where you enter the Abattoir of Zir. So it's really cool actually. If you are really looking forward to a challenge, you want to gear up as much as possible. You want to farm that Shaco, because this is going to be the only way to go as high as possible. And personally, I'm really excited to try this. I've already I'm kind of done with my rogue actually in Season 2, and now I'm just going to go back and grind more and try to get my rogue ready so I can like go mega ham here on my hardcore rogues. That's going to be fun, I think. So I'm going to be trying out various builds there. I'm going to be trying out, some strategies, and let's see how that goes. So this is basically what you can expect. Super high-end content. In general, the survivability is going to be a bit of an issue, but if you have like a T100 viable character and you can kind of like survive unstoppable elites, so not just crowd-controlled elites, then you're going to be okay. But also the monster level scales up even higher, besides like beyond T100 Nightmare Dungeons. So T100 Nightmare Dungeons have 154 level monsters, and Abattoir of Zir goes even beyond that. So if you're looking at armor requirements, recently I released my armor video that a lot of people watched. You have to go for even more armor to actually survive in this content. But outside of that, I think the damage of the monsters does not scale up very much. So they are survivable, and the HP is kind of like the main, the main bottleneck basically. So you have to really make like a really powerful high DPS build. You also need good single target to defeat the boss and all that stuff. So this is kind of what you can look for. This also means that we're going to be updating our max roll tier list to kind of like, work in that direction and kind of, now we're probably going to spread out the builds a little bit again, because right now we have a lot of builds like really far up because the game is so easy basically. We have a lot of stuff in like S tier, A tier, and all that stuff. So if you look at this here, for example, the Endgame tier list is like extremely crowded on the high end. We're probably going to make like actually like some fresh new tier list for this type of content as well, so they kind of know which builds to work towards. And this also means that in our build guides, we're probably going to do some kind of like new variant or so that probably includes this glyph and includes like some Abattoir of Zir variant. So usually we have like these L100 variants here with Nightmare Dungeon push. And this is a pretty good starting point because it's basically pushing, but there might be still some tweaks needed for certain builds to actually accommodate exactly this Abattoir of Zir content. But this is kind of where you get started, and then, maybe you do some tweaks there. So this is how it's going to go. I'm very excited for it, the Abattoir of Zir. And it seems like it's going to go away after the season ends, but I'm sure that this mostly just like a trial run, and we're going to get something similar in the future, I imagine, again. Maybe not in season 3, but maybe after that. Let's see. But in any way, it's really cool that this is going to be a thing now. So this comes, I think, on the 7th of December or something like that. In around a month, we're going to have this content, or maybe the 5th of December, something like that. So stay tuned for all of build updates from me as well, from the other Maxwell guys. We're going to be working on those. And yeah, let's see how far we can push it, I guess. And not only that, but in Season 3, there's the Gauntlet. So I want to talk about the Season 3 Gauntlet. This is a new type of system that includes leaderboards. We also played that when we were there at the Blizzard headquarters for a little bit. And they also showed some stuff here on the panel, and there's like some stuff in the press kit. So there's going to be a ladder that basically you rank like a certain score. And then there's going to be like, I think like a top 1000 weekly leaderboard here. You can see that. And then there's also going to be the top 10 for each week in every season that has like a permanent ladder. So this is, work in progress. So there might be tweaks here, but it's also kind of interesting. So this is kind of like the opposite kind of content compared to the Abattoir. The Gauntlet is like a speedrun competition. So this is fairly easy stuff. It's like, I think it was like 100 monsters or something like that. It's like some fixed seed dungeon. So it's a bit like a challenge rift in Diablo 3. So when you go here and you enjoy challenge rifts, you go in there, but you do it with your own build. So you don't go there with like a fixed character, but you bring your own character, but you have a fixed dungeon. So everything is going to be always in the same spot. There's going to be like, certain monsters in certain places, etc. And there's also some really cool twists on the strategy involved there. You can actually kind of like, plan out a route and stuff like that, and then try to go for the best time possible. And then the more enemies you defeat in a certain time frame that has like a timer, the better score you get, and then you will rank on those leaderboards. So this is how the Gauntlet is going to go in Season 3, and this is supposed to be a permanent system right away. So this is not going to go away afterwards. And I'm very excited for that as well. I think the general plan for this is going to be you basically make a character, you gear it up, and then you just kind of like respec it to be perfectly, synchronized for this content, and never touch that character again until, every weekly reset. You just play this content again, and then at least that's how I'm planning to do this probably. So I'm not gonna like respec every single week to another build and then have like a build for the Gauntlet. I'm gonna like just make a character for this purpose and just kind of leave it there parked until the weekly reset. So this is my plan at least. But either way, I think it's gonna be quite fun to try this out as well. So this is like much more accessible, and also there are like these different like tiers of like rewards that you can get apparently. So this is something that I have previewed here. So basically, if you reach certain scores, you can get like a badge, and if you hit like the top 1k, you have like actually a rank. So the top 1k is ranked with like the number, and everyone else just kind of has like an achievement reward, basically. A little bit like Trackmania, but so this is how that goes. And yeah, let's see. So I'm also quite excited to see this in action, actually. But I played this, it was kind of fun. And with the strategy involved, I think it's going to be pretty cool to try to compete on that system. And I hope that in the future, at least, we're also going to get more types of leaderboards. It seems like the devs are open to the idea. And maybe also going to get, you know, something like Abattoir of Zir again, where we can push to the highest limit and actually have leaderboard around that, for example. Or something I would like to see, also conquests from Diablo 3. I think they would fit really well in Diablo 4 as well, to have like, you know, conquest type leaderboards or something like that. So let's see where this will go. This is just a start, I imagine. And yeah, if that goes well to leaderboards, then it's going to be fun. There are a few more little details that I don't think I can share right now. So you have to wait and see until it comes out. Also, I'm sure that they've actually like, you know, tweaked all things already since I was there and since we gave some feedback there. So at least I know that they did take that feedback to heart, and, you know, there's going to be like, you know, some adjustments at least. So I can't tell like every single detail right now of how it's going to be. We have to wait and see. But I think both the Abattoir of Zir and the Gauntlet are going to be pretty fun systems when they come out. And yeah, I'm very excited to go in and blast them as much as possible. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this little overview here. So get ready for Abattoir of Zir for the season. And then I guess we're going to get some other like season 3 update as well that shows us more of the details as well later on when the season actually comes around. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.